We don't have a name yet.
Well, the type
just a front page podcast. Wait,
Front page podcast.
Frontcast.
It's the front. I'm torn. Front page podcast or front page MMA show.
No, not show, because it's not a show. It's a chat in it.
You can have radio shows, you dumbass.
Yeah, true, you can. Ginger twat. What about the Scouse, the Wool, and the Scot?
I've never been a fan. Never been a fan of that one.
No, I've got to admit, I'm not.
We're not happy with that.
No.
What about a game of elbows?
What about sort your mic out?
Sorry, what about now? A game of elbows.
It's too close to your mouth, I think. That's the issue.
A game of elbows.
Why do you keep saying a game of elbows?
You just keep saying it.
It's a good name.
It's not getting any better with everything you say.
Storm of elbows.
Honestly, we're not having a Game of Thrones theme by just changing one of the names to elbows. Voyage.
Well, this is the maiden voyage of the Front Page podcast.
Mate, not hit an iceberg.
Hopefully. Already have.
Listen, mate, we've started on top of a fucking iceberg.
Oh well, right, that's it. We're going now. This is going to be in the recording. I'm keeping that in. That was the introduction. That was it.
Okay, all right then.
So, hello Matt. Hello Cauley.
Hello Russ.
Let's talk about
Matt.
MMA. Yeah, well made friends. Right.
We've all made friends now. Is that it? And now we can.
I think we can move on.
Now we can move on. Yeah.
Right.
Understand. Cup of tea.
You got your tea ready?
Right, I've.
Right, so we'll just start off with the picks for this weekend. UFC San Antonio. Right, we'll just do main cards because not enough time to do the full prelim. So main card picks. Right.
Okay then.
We'll work our way from the first fight to the main event. So we'll start off Andrei Arlovski, Ben Rothwell. We'll start off Cauley. Go ahead. What do you think?
I don't know, you know.
Just put
I reckon Arlovski's going to do him.
So we're definitely well prepared for this podcast.
No, yeah. I definitely do think he's going to. I think because it's not had a fight for how long now. Well, actually, no, he fought Ivanov, didn't he, in March? He didn't look very good. So
hey, Rothwell.
Yeah. So
well, a lot of people thought Rothwell won that fight. To be honest.
No.
It was close, but it was quite. It wasn't the best fight anyway.
It wasn't very finger. I really don't know. It could go either way, but either way, it's not. What's his record now? Arlovski in the past few he's had. He's not been good, has he?
No, he's nearly got 20 losses now. He's got 18 losses.
He lost to Sakai, didn't he? That dude. He lost to I can't think what that Russian's name was, but he lost to Tai Tuivasa as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he's lost fights with Sakai and Tuivasa.
He's got hasn't he got one win in his last sort of 8 or 9 fights?
Yeah, he beat Struve, didn't he? I just don't see him doing it. I don't know.
Well,
it could just gonna go either way, isn't it?
He's getting shades of like Tito Ortiz because he's committed to getting that belt still.
He might be waiting a while.
Yeah.
When the UFC introduced like a Masters division.
What he said, he was talking to the UFC, and he's quoted as saying, "A long time ago, my coach told me to remember what you want. Every day, I remember what I want, and I want to be champion again." So that's his thoughts going into this fight against Rothwell. It's quite.
I mean, good on him. It's a good mentality in it, but you can't stamp on him. But is it?
Yeah, it's probably long contenders anyway.
I don't know if I see any of them actually knocking the other one out, to be honest.
No, neither. It's Hernandez and Trinaldo I'm looking forward to. That's going to be a good fight.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but we're not on to that one. We're on to this one.
Yeah, so just hold your roll.
Stay in line, Cauley.
I was trying to smooth
it. This one's actually a rematch, isn't it? They fought over 10 years ago.
They did indeed.
And Arlovski got the KO that time, but that fight literally means absolutely nothing when it
No.
comes to this one. They're both old. They're both not going to get anywhere further. They're just fighting for a bit of money. I see Rothwell by decision.
Rothwell decision. What about you, Cauley?
I'm going to back Arlovsky. I'm going to say Arlovsky by decision.
That's what I was going to say as well. I was going to go Arlovsky decision too.
Okay.
I think he takes it. Now, Cauley, you can move us on nicely to your fight that you like.
Yes, now this is going to be a good one, isn't it? I hope, because Hernandez, we all hate him now after what he did to Cowboy. That's not on, is it? How he treated our Donald.
I should say as well, for people who are going to listen, we're going to say, at least me, I'm going to say I hate a lot of things and a lot of people. And I don't necessarily mean it as strong as it will sound.
Yeah.
I think it's quite a British thing to say that we hate something or something like that, and it's not. It just means we really don't like them very much.
you have a slight dislike for it.
Yeah, it's a slight dislike.
Yeah. But no, whether you like him or you dislike him, he's got tech, hasn't he? Is good.
He's a good fighter, yeah.
I think Ronaldo's more of a kind of bounce back fight. I think they've gave him that fight to kind of bounce back off Donald Cerrone. They see him as a star, I think, so they want them to.
I would. This is one to get him back on the run, to get him a bit of confidence.
Well, he's only 10 wins, 2 losses, so he's not lost that often.
I mean, Ronaldo's a good fighter, but he's old now.
Yeah, he's 40. There's a 14-year gap between them.
So, I mean, not to say 40 years old is too old, and you got DC as the champion, but he's definitely a bit of an easier comeback. He's designed to get Hernandez back into the win column, I would say.
Definitely.
Or at least to give him a good enough chance for it anyway.
Hernandez has the youth and he's got the reach advantage on him as well, so.
Yeah. I still don't think that it's going to be a knockout, though. I'm still going to go for a decision.
Oh, do you think?
In this fight. Yeah.
For Hernandez, I assume.
I would say Hernandez by decision in this one, yeah.
Cauley, how you go?
In a round 2 knockout, man.
For Hernandez?
Yeah, I do. Well, he did. Remember when he did that? I can't say his name properly. Benil Dario. He did him in 40 seconds, didn't he? In the first.
Yeah,
it's true. And I know he's getting on, but Ronaldo's never been knocked out.
Yeah, but it can happen. Frankie Edgar Ortega, all it takes is one perfect shot to land, and that's them.
No, it's true. But I just, on balance, I'm going to go for a decision win for Hernandez in this one.
Mm.
So you're going round to a knockout for Hernandez, Cauley?
I am. I'm sticking with it, round 2.
I'm just going to go round 1, Hernandez, knockout.
You think a quick one?
Yeah, a similar starching to what he usually does, apart from Cowboy. But so the next fight on the card is one I'm looking forward to. It's James Vick versus Dan Hooker. That's an interesting one. James Vick was his last fight at Gaethje, got knocked out cold.
Felder won it. Did he fight Felder last?
Was that his last fight? I thought it was Gaethje. Was it Felder?
He lost a decision to Felder, I think.
Yeah. Wait. I'm going to fact check. But
he was on a good run before that as well, though, wasn't he? He's he was on 4 in a row, and he
beat that piece of scum Trujillo. He beat Polo Reyes, Joe Duffy. He beat Trinaldo by decision. Then he got knocked out by Gaethje and lost a decision to Felder.
Well, lots of people get knocked out by Gaethje, to be fair.
No, it's not a rarity.
Yeah, it was Paul Felder. You're correct there. Dan Hooker, his last fight was Barbosa. He got absolutely destroyed for the whole fight.
God. It was hard to watch that. He was getting absolutely kicked within an inch of his life, wasn't he?
He's like a zombie, though, man.
I would not like to take one of those kicks. Even one of those kicks I would not be happy with.
Nah, I don't think anyone would.
Yeah. But he did knock out this it was Burns and Miller just before that fight as well. So
yeah, he's looked really good at lightweight since making the jump up, hasn't he, from featherweight.
He's got good power considering he's come up. And I think they're both coming off losses, so they're both going to want to go for it a bit, I think.
Yeah, definitely. He's not lost since about 2000. No, he hasn't. He lost to Jason Knight. 2016 was his last loss. So he's on form, really, Dan Hooker.
Yeah, definitely is, yeah. He's still I would say that loss. There's no shame in losing to someone like Edson Barbosa anyway.
Definitely
No.
not.
So
I mean, Kevin's proved it. All it takes is that one kick when he got head kicked and then started doing the stanky leg, didn't he? Do you know what I mean? All it
Yeah.
takes is one kick.
I mean, he's been finishing all his fights recently. Dan Hooker. He's had in his last 5. Well, not counting the Jason Knight fight, so his last 4, he's had 3 knockouts and 1 submission. So
Yeah, he's a finisher. That's for certain.
9 by knockout, 7 by submission, and 1 by decision from his 17 wins as a professional.
I think he might. I think he might do it again against James Vick.
Yeah, I'm going for a Hooker finish.
Knockout or sub?
I'll go for a knockout probably in the second.
It's a fair shout.
Yeah, I think I fancy that. I think Vic is kind of, he's hittable. You know what I mean? He's got, I think if you're offering your chin up or whatever to a guy like Vic, then to like Hooker, then you're gonna catch a big one. I think, and more often than not, you're gonna go down.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, I'll take Hooker by a second round KO.
Cauley?
Ooh. I think I agree with you, Matt. To be fair, he's only ever been he's been finished twice by a knockout and lost one by decision.
Yeah.
To be fair, no. Do you know what? No. I think he's going to grind out a decision. I think James Vick's going to grind out a decision.
I think it's a brave call.
Definitely. I know. And no one likes James Vick either, so it's even worse call.
Because he has awful trash talk against Gaethje, man. His trash talk was disgraceful. It was terrible.
I know. I feel sorry for him though, because he was on a good run and he wanted to break into the rankings, get up the rankings. Then he wanted a top 10 opponent, and then.
Well, he was close to a title shot almost, I would say, before Gaethje. At least he was on the verge of it. He was sort of knocking on the door.
I think fair enough. It's the same with Hernandez and Cerrone. If you talk like that and then you get knocked out like that, it's satisfying and it's quick to turn the thing. But he is good. He is good at the end of the day, and he only lost to that Benil Dariush before that. So it's.
I mean, he's only lost 3 times in his life. He's not. He's a good fighter, obviously, but I just feel like he's got a reachable chin.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think he'll catch one.
Yeah, he's got the height advantage, I think, hasn't he? And the height and the reach advantage, Vic. So I think.
Well, he's only got 1 inch, I think, 1 inch reach.
Oh, is that it? Is that all he's got on him?
Yeah, because Hooker is long as well. He's that kind of lanky.
Yeah, he was big for a featherweight, wasn't he? So he's like prime lightweight, isn't
he? Yeah. What do you think then? You think Vic decision, don't you?
Yeah, Vic decision. I'll stick with a Vic decision.
And then Matt.
Second round KO for me.
I think I'll go the same. Dan Hooker, second round KO. So
cool.
We'll see who comes out correct in that one. Right, so next fight, Greg Hardy.
And now we get our favourite character in the entirety of the MMA universe.
The GOAT.
Greg Hardy, fan favourite.
Yeah. So both the guys in this fight are quite new in their professional career. Juan Adams is 5-1. Greg Hardy's 4-1. Greg Hardy, his loss was that knee, so you can't really count that as a loss.
Well, what I would say about that fight is that he was gassed. He was absolutely gassed after 1 round.
Do you think he wanted to wear it?
I think nothing much was touching. Who did he fight? Sorry.
Was it Crowder? No, Alan Crowder.
Alan Crowder. Yeah.
Was it, yeah?
Yeah, it was Crowder. Yeah. So nothing much was touching him. And Crowder had quite good control of the octagon, I'd say. But then Hardy was so gassed. I don't know if it was because he wanted the way out or because he was so tired. His decision making was just so crap.
Yeah.
He just kind of, the knee was such a blaze. It's like one of the worst disqualifications I've ever seen. It was such a blatant. As soon as it happened, you're like, well, this is over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of.
Was it inexperience? That's the argument people were saying. Like,
but he knows the rules.
He does know the rules.
I mean, it was his 5th professional fight. He knows the rules.
True.
I don't know. I just I don't think he's got that much skill. I mean, he's strong and he's powerful, but when he blows it out, I mean, unless he's improved his cardio since then, he's not going to have a long career because he's not going to get far into fights that he can't finish.
True. My main question is how did Hardy, with all his power, because he is an incredible athlete, despite all the personal stuff, he's an athletic guy, he's built like a monster, he has power. How did he not knock Crowder out? Because Crowder's last fight in the UFC, he knocked out by a jab after 9 seconds. So I mean,
yeah, well, that's true. Maybe he took all the damage in the first one, like when you're opening a jar, someone loosens it up for you.
Yeah, that's what happened.
To be fair, you've got to look at, like, everyone goes on about Greg Hardy's power, but look at Alan Crowder there. He got knocked out in the first round by Justin Willis. Greg Hardy Greg Hardy gave him everything he could and couldn't finish him, and then Rosenstruck gets the 10-second KO, didn't he?
Oh yeah, of course.
Like, so it's like Crowder doesn't, just off that basis, obviously, Crowder mustn't have much of a chin. They've just got monster strikes.
So you just wonder if it come down to technique, because he's obviously a powerful guy. He plays a powerful position in the NFL. It's like maybe he can't translate that power into his punch or something. I don't know, his technique or something like that. I don't know, but you know, we've had, you two were both there when we were chatting with Leo from ATT, and he trains with Greg Hardy, and he says, you know, he's got the ability and he's got, you know, the attributes to be good at this sport. So, you know, he's obviously got some skill.
Yeah, it's a shallow, without any disrespect, obviously, it's a shallow division at the moment. And I know they're bringing people up like Greg Hardy and even Juan Adams, but it's that case of if he does start making an impact and start getting big names under his, like, on his record, then he is going to be in a title shot situation, despite how much controversy that caused. We all know Dana. Dana loves a bit of...
Well, Dana, it seems to me that Dana wants him to be successful. You think he's a money-making kind of character, isn't he, I suppose? Because even if people hate him, people will tune in to see him lose if they can, and hate him even more if he wins, and then tune in again, hoping for that loss.
It's something... Sorry, go on, Matt. Sorry.
No, I'm fine. Good.
I was going to say it's something similar, obviously, to like Colby, isn't it? I know some people do like Colby's trash talk, but some people obviously hate it, and a lot of people you see on Twitter do join in to see Colby lose, don't they? But obviously, he's doing quite a good job.
Sure.
So I think it's like, in terms of Adams, I don't know much about him. He's obviously massive. He's like 6'5". He's a huge guy. He's powerful, hits hard, maybe better all round than Greg Hardy is in terms of like taking into consideration the ground game as well.
I think he's definitely a better martial artist anyway. I'm actually quite.
I'm just on his shirt now, and his last fight he lost was against Aryan Buller, and Aryan Buller's obviously a good fighter. Obviously, just signed with one, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And he lost by decision, and the other fights he's won by knockout he's won his first 4, by knockout in the first. And then Chris De La Rocca he beat in the 3rd round by a TKO. So
I watched the Aryan Buller fight, and in my opinion, I think Adams won the decision. It was a very close fight. I know it's unanimous, but I don't know if it was just me and having poor judging, but I gave it to Adams. I think he done most of the work in that fight. So arguably, on my books, he could be undefeated. I'm a fan of Adams also.
Well, on that note, a bit of a tangent. Buller signed for one. He's fighting against former Cage Warriors champion Mauro Cirilli in September or August. So something to keep an eye on. See how he does in one championship.
Yeah, nice fight. I know we had a title shot against Brandon Vera. I can't remember off the top of my head how that went down. I know obviously
he got knocked out quite early on.
Did he?
Yeah.
Might be interesting to watch that.
I think it'll be a good one for Buller to come into and make a bit of a statement. But yeah, Juan Adams against Hardy. I think Adams is a better martial artist overall, but I think he might get pulled into a bit of a brawl.
Yeah, because he's quite passionately, he's all about the whole kind of fuck Greg Hardy movement.
Yeah. I mean, the T-shirts are amazing. I'd love one. But they are, you know, I think he's getting a bit, I don't know if he's just taking it in his stride and it's a bit of a joke and he seems it a bit, you know, he's just trying to sort of play You know,
It's
if
great
he's like the face, isn't he, to Greg Hardy's heel? So maybe he's just trying to play off that a little bit and get the crowd on side and whatever else, even though they'll be on his side anyway. But I hope he doesn't get sort of brought into a brawl, because I can see him getting done in the first round if he does.
Yeah. So is that your call? Is that your first round Hardy?
I don't like to say so, but I think I might go for a first round KO for Hardy.
Cauley, what about you?
I think it's going to be end. I think it's going to end in the first round. I think I've got to say Adams. I've got to say Adams by TKO, I reckon. I think obviously he's got a bit of background on the ground, Adams has. So if it goes there, even if Hardy drops him and goes on top and doesn't finish him and he gets in a position, then I think Adams has got the advantage to capitalise. So
Yeah, but it's hard if he's got. I mean, if Hardy's improved his ground game at all and he gets a top position, his ground and pound is going to be so dangerous.
oh, definitely. I think I really don't know.
It's definitely a bit of a pick 'em, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm going to say Adams just because, like, first round knockout though, definitely. Well, first round TKO.
How about you, Ross?
I reckon Adams by decision. I can't picture Hardy getting knocked out, maybe because I just haven't seen it yet, but I think Hardy will just use his kind of overall martial arts skills and just drag it out. Maybe even take him down, lie on him a bit, beat him up, but I think it'll be a decision to Adams. Quite
I think when you get such a big guy like Hardy, he's hard to take down. You know, if he's got any, he's working in such a good gym, they'll be working on his takedown defense a lot. I mean, I know we talk about Masvidal being a brawler, but he trains in that gym and he's hard to take down, and he's not a wrestler really. So I don't know, if he's worked on it, then I'd see it hard to get him down, and I think it'll be quite a stand up.
Very well could be. It could be.
And I think if Adams maybe takes a big shot, he might just start letting go a bit. So I don't know. It's a really hard one to call, but I'll go with Hardy for the first round KO.
Right, so the next fight on the card is a co-main, Alexei Oleinik versus Walt Harris. That is, it's a
tedious fight.
I like Oleinik. I think he's ace.
Did you see it? Oh my god, the knees that he was eating off over him in St. Petersburg. Oh my god, they were incredible knees.
He's 70 fights into his career, man.
This is the 71st fight, and he's 42, and he's great. He's really good.
Yeah, definitely.
So good.
I mean, he's the only guy. He's the only guy who's pulled off an Ezekiel, and he's done it twice. And
he's definitely still got talent.
He's a good fighter. He really is. But what I mean about the fight, I suppose, is that it's two relatively old guys again, like the Arlovsky fight as well. It's just two guys that are towards the end of their career, both late 30s, early 40s, and I don't see much point going forward for either of them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Because neither of them are going to win the title. So in that way, it's kind of a filler fight, if you know what I mean. It doesn't really affect the rankings too much.
Yeah, I don't know. See it as co-main. They could have done better for the co-main.
Yeah, I mean they've got an absolutely spanking main event, but I mean
boys, no, this is good. This is a good main event. Co-main, sorry. This is a good co-main. This is good.
Sell it to me then. Sell it to me.
It's good. Did you say?
It's good. I said it's good. Nah, he fights like a granddad, like your granddad. Like his stance is just like someone's granddad. Chest out, hands crazy, and he just goes in. He goes in. He's ranked 9th, and if he beat over him, I truly believe it'd be in a big fight now, and he'd be looking into a title match. And I know that sounds a bit stupid to say with all this. I know it's tied up now, but I think we've obviously went to Cormier and Stipe situations planned out. I think the heavyweight division is going to free up, and we'll see loads of movement. Because what's the record at heavyweight for defences now? Is it like 3?
3. It's only 3. Yeah.
It's the title is an active title, and it's constantly on the shift. So, I think if Oleinik stays active and keeps racking up a few wins, but
it hasn't. It is. I know what you mean, but the title is probably the one that's least fought for out of all of them.
Yeah, you're right there.
My issue with Oleinik is I don't think he would have been in the title picture, because when you look at his record, right, his time in the UFC, he's active. He's fought 6 times since 2017, so that's like roughly 3 fights a year. But he's won his fights against people who are either not that great or on their way out. Like he's beat Travis Brown on his way out, beat Mark Hunt also on his way out. Junior was kind of the nappy guy. And then
I think he'll win. I think Oleinik will win.
I think he'll win too. But like when he fights names,
the fight itself is not. You know, it might be. It's one of those things. I can't just because there's no massive names in it doesn't mean it's not going to be a really good fight. But it's kind of. I just don't get the reasoning behind the fight so much. It's almost like they've got some fights left on their contract, so make them fight.
I can definitely see it being a good fight. I just like you said, it's just a bit pointless. There's nothing really at stake for either of them, apart from a paycheck, really.
Yeah, and in terms of the match itself, Oleinik is small compared to Harris. Like he's quite a lot smaller than him, isn't he? He's small. He's small for a heavyweight in general, Oleinik. So, I don't. If Harris, I don't see him trying to stand up. Basically, he's going to want to try and take it down.
Yeah.
And if he does take it down, he's so much better on the ground than Harris that he'll probably finish it quite soon with a submission. I'm going to go for a submission win anyway.
Cauley, you can go again. You can go ahead. We'll keep the same order. Cauley, what do you think?
Oleinik submission.
What?
In the second.
I'm going to go completely different. I'm going to go Walt Harris, first round KO.
Yeah, I was going to go in the first round as well, but I think it'll go submission Oleinik first round.
Because the thing is, Harris has 12 wins, 12 knockouts, or TKOs. He's not to be fucked with.
No, but he's only half and half in the UFC, isn't he? 6-6 in the UFC.
True.
So he's not, he's a 50-50 fighter at this level. So I think it is one of those. I think it will either be Harris knocks out Oleinik or Oleinik will submit Harris. And I don't think it'll last very long either way. So, but I will go for Oleinik first round submission.
Right. So next is the main. Edwards RDA.
This is a good one. I mean, I like the sound of this one.
There's a really good fight. It's a hard one to pick as well. It's kind of another case of RDA being the gatekeeper for the top of that division.
It's the one that if Leon Edwards wins, he'll finally get noticed by the top. And he will start being in the picture for, talking about title shots and getting close to title shots, finally. He was on 7-0 in the UFC, or 7-7 win streak at least.
Yeah, he's not lost since his last loss was Usman, I think.
Yeah, in 2015.
It was.
So both of them have improved massively since then, so the fight could be different if it happens now.
Mm. Yeah, so I think that it's a good fight for Edwards, and I think he'll win it. I think he'll win it. I think he's got the momentum behind him, at least in his confidence and everything else. And RDA is on the way down in his career, I would say. I don't know if that's being harsh because he's still amazing, but I think it's a good time for Edwards to face him.
Well, he's done a few 5-round wars still, though. Dos Anjos, like he's still a main eventer, isn't he? Like he did.
Yeah, he's still a star.
He tapped Kevin Lee, didn't he, in the 4th? I know he got beat by Usman and Cauley, no shame in that, but he went the full 5 there.
Yeah.
Went to the 5th with Lawless, tapped Magny, decision with Safadine.
I don't fancy Lee at welterweight though, to be fair.
Yeah. I just think Leon's got it. I think it's Leon's time to take it, I think. Now Darren Till's obviously on the decline, which is a bit unfortunate. I think Leon's going to be the one to shoot up.
Yeah. The thing about, Edwards is like a really kind of, I think he's kind of underrated. I don't like him very much, I'll be honest. I don't really like him. It's kind of funny. He's one of those British fighters that it seems like a lot of British fans don't really like him very much. But I think he's underrated. He's a striker. He's really good on his feet, but he always attempts takedowns. So he's fine going on the ground as well. So I think he's well rounded. There's nothing good enough on the ground to sort of nullify any of RDA's skills on the ground as well. So
can you believe he's only ranked 12th? Can you believe that? Can you believe
Edwards?
12? Yeah.
He's still on the 12 after beating Nelson.
Yeah, man, I'm sure it's. I'm positive it's still 12. Let's have a quick look now.
I thought he shot up after that Nelson man.
But he's also like 7 inches taller and got a 4-inch reach advantage on him on RDA. So he's got the distance on the stand up and he's got decent skills going down. I don't think he'll knock Dos Anjos out.
No, Leon Edwards. Leon Edwards 12. He's gone down 1.
Yeah, how's Damien Maya still above Edwards?
I know. Maya, Lawler, Askren. When's Ponzinibbio gone? Where's he gone? Where is he? Where has he gone?
Was his last fight Perry?
Yeah, he's fight. Isn't he? No, Perry's got
Luque.
Dos Santos, hasn't he? No, he's Luque. Yeah, Perry's fighting Luque.
That'll be some fight.
Ponzinibbio doesn't have a fight yet, does he?
Before we get too off topic though, who wins this main event?
Edwards by decision.
Yeah, Edwards by decision for me as well.
I'm confident. I'm confident in that.
I'm kind of leaning towards Dos Anjos because I think it was Chael Sonnen that I listened to speaking about it, and he made the point, which I agree with, that Dos Anjos is fine on the feet. Obviously, he's talented, right? But the thing that decides whether or not he wins the fight is if he's better than his opponent in wrestling. Because it seems like when the opponent has the wrestling advantage, that's when he struggles. Because you can see he was better than Robbie Lawler. He won that. Like, he's a better wrestler than Robbie Lawler. Arguably, but I'd say he won that fight convincingly. But then he lost to Colby, who's a better grappler, and Kamaru Usman, who also is better than him on the ground. So
yeah, that's fair
it seems
enough.
like that's his one thing that he struggles with. And Edwards, I wouldn't say Edwards is a better wrestler than Dos Anjos. So going with that logic, I'm going to say Dos Anjos takes the decision, I think.
And we do an MMA maths in our very first podcast.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
well, it wasn't quite MMA. It wasn't like this person beat this person, so they must win this one.
No, I know. Yeah.
It was almost MMA.
I was about to though because I was well. I don't. Edwards has won 7 in a row. His last fight, he wasn't particularly convincing against Gunnar Nelson. He took the split decision.
That was close, man.
And you can't really say that Gunnar Nelson is like totally elite.
The thing is, though, like
RDA is a lot better than Gunnar Nelson.
That Edwards Nelson fight, it was never a split decision. Like Edwards won that thing pretty much from start to finish.
Yeah, he won. In my opinion, he won the fight. Yeah.
Yeah, it was convincingly Edwards. Like even I was in London for that one, and the whole stadium did not want Edwards to win. But when
judges can often be
yeah.
influenced by the crowd, can't they? But
That's
I
true.
mean, one of those judges gave that fight to Gunnar Nelson.
That was ridiculous.
You could understand maybe if they'd given it a closer decision, but to Edwards, Edwards was a unanimous winner of that, in my opinion.
Definitely.
But it wasn't that convincing all the same. It wasn't, someone who wants to go on and sort of someone who's backing himself to be ready to win the title now. Possibly he should have done a little bit better, but I don't know if I'm just being harsh because I don't like him very much either. But either way, I'm still backing him to win by decision.
Yeah.
Against RDA. What was that, Cauley?
Are you going to back him if he goes in for a title shot after it?
Against Usman, or to be honest,
Yeah.
I wouldn't take Edwards against. I wouldn't take Edwards against Usman.
Yeah, me either.
I wouldn't take Edwards against Colby.
Do you think he gets the next shot if he wins, or do you think?
No.
Or does Masvidal get it? Does Colby and Lawler get it? Who gets it? It's a.
Colby will get it if he wins.
Colby should get it.
Colby will get it if he wins. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to get it.
When's Colby fighting? Or when's the date for that fight?
That's in August, isn't it?
Because Usman wants to come back for November, doesn't he, for MSG?
He should be able to make that.
Yeah, well, it's not been confirmed, as I say, but I'm assuming they're going back to MSG. Everyone's mentioning it, aren't they? Like saying that they're going to. So I think it's likely or mentioned.
Yeah, well, the Colby fight soon enough. It's only in like a month, and I think to be honest, I think Colby will beat Lawler, and I think he will get the next shot, whether that's in November or whether it's a bit later on. I think at that point he'll just wait for Usman.
He does deserve it.
And Usman himself has said in the last couple of days that Masvidal doesn't deserve the shot, and Colby does.
No,
so it should be Colby.
What Leon Edwards said today, like, I don't know if it was today, sorry, but he said recently, didn't he? That
Yeah, I kind of agree with him. I agree with him. Carry on though.
I was going to say, yeah, he said, didn't he, that he doesn't understand where the title shot, like, hype to come out, because he was on a 2-fight losing streak, 2 fights ago, which is true.
Yeah.
He got outclassed by Thompson, unfortunate to say. I do like Masvidal, but he got outclassed by Thompson, Wonder Boy. And
Yeah.
who did he have before that now? It was Wonder Boy. Was it Maya or was it Cerrone?
I think
No,
it was Maya.
Cerrone. It was Maya, wasn't it, where he just got, like, wrestled for the entire 3 rounds?
Yeah, Maya just sat on his back, like, the whole
Yeah, and
fight.
then it's funny because ever since they've been talking about how he wasn't dominated by Maya. When we were talking about pre Askren, they were talking about how he's going to easily be able to deal with Askren's wrestling because he dealt with Damian Maya, but he didn't really, if we're being honest about it. He lost the fight, and Maya was never really in any trouble that I can remember. So I don't know where the title shot has come from, or the title shot talk has come from, because really he's blown up the rankings too far for what he's done. Because Darren Till, he had a title shot, so he was high up the ranking. So that's probably where Masvidal shot up to number 4.
Yeah.
From off the back of Darren Till going up the rankings beforehand. And
I
don't think you can have a title shot if you're 2-2, unless you're Holly Holm.
Definitely, yeah. She gets them just every second fight, so.
Yeah, so I just what do you reckon? Do you think Masvidal deserves a shot, Ross?
No. I think that all that whole discussion comes from a mixture of recency bias and his kind of fan base. Because his fan base is just shot out of control since knocking out Till.
And I will say it, and I'm going to lose fans. Before we've even got them. We're going to lose listeners before we've even got them. I would take Askren in a rematch.
I would. Now, this is what I was going to ask. I was going to ask a very controversial thing now. Was the knockout fluke?
It wasn't a fluke. It was well planned.
I don't mean to say it wasn't like. I don't mean to say like he practiced it, he drilled it, and he landed it. Fair play to him. His plan went to a T. But
I know you, Ross. I know you think he was stupid. I know you think that Askren was stupid, and it is probably true. But I think if that knee didn't work, Askren wins the fight.
Definitely.
I don't think the fact that he did drill that and practice it exactly how he done it, that eliminates any chance of calling it a fluke. That shows that
it was perfect tactical planning.
Yeah, maybe I was going to say fluke's the wrong word. Maybe fluke's definitely the wrong word.
But it's the kind of perfect tactical planning that if you pull it off, it works. If you fail, you're probably going to lose. But the next time you fight each other, you can't do it again.
True. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not that it matters because they probably never will fight each other again. But I think that it doesn't. I don't think it really says anything about Askren.
Ben will face the loser of Colby and Robbie, I think.
That would be quite good, actually.
That might happen, but the latest kind of news coming out of the welterweight division is Kevin Lee, who actually came out and spoke on Askren. And what he said was, he's the easiest out of anybody. He's just too hittable and too one-dimensional. So, what do you think?
I don't know if he's as... He might be. He took a few shots against Robbie, but he didn't get knocked down by a punch. He got lifted up and slammed and took some ground and pound. I don't know if he is that hittable. I've watched him for a long time in ONE and then Bellator before. He's got some good names on his resume. Douglas Lima was only young, but he's some fighter. And we've got Shinya Aoki and Kadestam, who's the current ONE champion in welterweight. These are good fighters, and I don't think he's as hittable as Kevin Lee would find out if he went in the cage with him.
Kevin Lee, though, is very talented. Well, I think it's fair to say he is quite talented on the ground. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Do you think he'd cope with Askren and the pressure that Askren puts on people?
No.
I think that Askren would beat him by decision. I don't think he would be submitted, or at least my my prediction for that fight would be an Askren win by decision. But that would be my decision. That would be my prediction for most Askren fights, to be honest.
I would like to see that fight, actually. It would be a good fight. There's some good scrambles in it.
I reckon Kevin Lee is talking about it because there's probably some smoke. Some fire underneath the smoke. If you see what I say, I think there might be something in that.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I think Askren was, people say unfairly, but I think he was kind of, based on his pedigree and what he'd done before, he was catapulted higher up the rankings than maybe other people who come into the UFC would be. But he has to work his way up again now. So I think someone like Kevin Lee would be a good test.
Yeah.
To sort of see if he can move up the rankings again. Because he's 33, 34, Askren. But his style means that he's got 5-6 years ahead of him, probably.
Definitely,
if he wants them. So
he's took next to no damage apart from like the Lawler fight, and maybe one other fight.
And in that Lawler fight, he took 3 or 4 ground and pound shots that were really heavy in a row. But he was never out, and he got his hands around Lawler and stopped the shots. He was still with it, which is quite impressive. But I mean, if you're taking 4 or 5 big shots in your entire career, you're doing all right at 34.
I think it will be interesting to see though how that massive knee completely flatlined him. See how that affects his chin.
Yeah. It was quite interesting because if you look at it, it's kind of sort of slid down the side of his head and got him on the neck.
Yeah, I suppose.
So it's not really a full on the cranium shot at the same time. So I think it was
down though, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like it was a great knee. I mean, let's be honest, it was a fantastic knee. But it'd be good to see how he reacts because he's taken it like an absolute champ. I mean, his interview with Helwani last week was it was great. I mean, he was just so that, well, stuff happens and I'll give him credit and, what else can you do? There's no point being sad about it. I've just got to come back and be better. So it's a really great attitude to have.
Definitely. I think that's kind of all the points I was going to cover. We've run out of time a little bit, but anything you guys want to say if I end it?
Well, I would talk about just a little bit on, we've got Triple C, King of Cringe, Henry Cejudo defending the flyweight title first, which is quite interesting because it opens up a little bit of the bantamweight division. Just a little, first off, who do you think will win between Cejudo and Benavidez? But also, do you think there'll be an interim title in the bantamweight division or just a number 1 contender fight?
I'll let you take that one. And you go, Cauley.
Oh, I think I don't know because Dana likes his interim belts, but with all respect to Jan and Aljo, because I love them both, but I don't think that's gonna sell a pay-per-view. Do you know what I mean? Unfortunately, I think it's a quality fight. It's a quality fight, but it isn't going to sell a pay-per-view. People aren't going to buy it specifically for them. So I don't think
it could be a co-main. They could. I mean, they could have.
I think you'd have it as a co-main, as perhaps a number 1 contender, and bill it as a number 1 contender. But I don't think he'll find the need to put unnecessary gold on the line per se when Cejudo is coming back to defend. It's not like hearsay. When is he coming back? We don't know. We can't get. He is coming back. He's just got to recover, defend his flyweight title, which at the end of the day is what champs should be doing. They shouldn't be like Conor McGregor, winning one belt and getting an automatic shot at the next one, and then be able to toss off.
It's true, but I wonder about with the precedent's been set by sort of Adesanya and Gastelum going for the interim title when Whittaker was injured. And I know he's going to come back and defend, but he's not going to fight until February probably at the earliest because of the shoulder surgery he's got, and then he's got to defend the title. So then there'll be another turnaround after that. So we're looking sort of 11 months before the bantamweight title be defended again.
True, you've
possibly
got a fair point, but if you put it for an interim belt, and when you've got the interim title, you are the clear contender. No one else is getting that shot before you. But are you going to want to defend your interim title? And I know some people have in the past. I think Carlos Condit did, didn't he?
Yeah, that's a point. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
They'll probably both want to fight again before. Well, I don't know. If they fight sort of before the end of 2019, it's probably fair enough to say that will be their only fight before
Well,
June or July.
If they have from now till Christmas till next year off, say, I don't know if that's I don't know what the plans are. I've not seen anything.
Well, Jan fought only recently, didn't he, in the last sort of 6 weeks or so?
Yeah. So if they have till next year off, say, and then they get a fight booked for either on the same card as Cejudo, then it's like they've got that same kind of time scale, haven't they? Like Cejudo will have fought at the same time. It's kind of even ground, isn't it? Really.
So do you think it's fair enough to say that the sort of the next title challenger at bantamweight will be either Aljo or Jan?
Definitely.
Do you think there's anyone else in with a shot, Ross?
I think if there's ever a time for an interim title, this would be it. Like we've seen interim belts get introduced for far less of a reason than we have here. I think this is the perfect time. Put Aljo and Jan as a co-main on a card, interim belt. Well, Cejudo does his thing in the flyweight division. I think that's what has to be done here.
It's almost like champ situation is the perfect time to have an interim champ, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's probably the best time, especially, I mean, an injured champ as well. So who's going to take the flyweight title then? Who's going to take that fight? Cejudo or Benavidez?
I can't pick against Cejudo after he's turned over. I know he's always been talented, but he's kind of like turned over a new leaf recently.
It's the confidence, isn't it?
He's on a whole other level right now. I think, although Benavidez got a decision last time, Cejudo
it was only a split decision as well. It was a close fight.
Cejudo got a knockdown in that fight. He had Benavidez in some trouble, and Cejudo's striking is improved since then even more. His grappling speaks for itself. So I think Cejudo just takes that one quite. Benavidez, he'll be in the fight. I don't see him being totally dominated, but I do think Cejudo wins it without too much trouble.
How about you, Cauley?
I think Cejudo does it, to be fair. I just think he breezes through it. Like Ross is saying, he's turned a new leaf. Since that DJ fight, he's just been a new person. He's been an absolute fiend on me. I mean, I know I wanted him to beat TJ. And I did think he was going to beat TJ quite okay with him doing I didn't think TJ would make to 125, and obviously we all know what happened with that situation. But to beat him still in 36 seconds, whatever it was, is incredible. Ridiculous. And then to do what he did against the Magic Marlon, mate, again was mint. So
I honestly, after that first round, I thought Marlon was taking that, but the switch after the first round was incredible.
Incredible, man. I can't, like you're saying, Ross, I can't pick against him. Can't pick against him at all.
So we're all agreed on Cejudo. He's a bit of a beast at the minute. Yeah. So the last thing I want to say.
Take away from Benavidez, sorry, just quickly, sorry, Matt. Because Benavidez was impressive in his last performance, wasn't he? Benavidez looked really good. So it's like, you don't know if he's going to bring a different kind of animal, do you? Because we didn't expect Cejudo to do what he did against Mighty Mouse, did we? So
it'll be a good fight. Although I still have Mighty Mouse winning that fight, to be honest. But there we are.
Yeah.
So, for the last little thing before we finish, I've got to give a shout out to Stamp Vertex because I love her so much. And she is fighting in August an MMA fight. She's currently one Muay Thai champion, one kickboxing champion, and she's fighting in MMA to go for the third belt, atomweight in all three. So shout out to her. And that's me finished.
If you're listening,
yeah, to be fair, 3 titles. She's going for a third title all at once. She'll be a champ.
She's a beast, isn't she, to be fair?
She's an absolute beast, yeah. Although, to be fair, she was gifted the decision in her defence against Juniku, but we won't talk about that.
We'll save that for next week.
But anyway, anyone else got anything to add before we finish off?
Nah, that's me. I'm happy.
Okay.
We'll try and do this a weekly thing then. I kind of hour long or so wrap up of all the stories then past week.
Yeah, maybe we'll just see how long it takes, I suppose, won't we, to cover what we want to say.
And
but nothing too long, so don't worry. We're not going to drone on for too long.
If we get some listeners as well, we might actually be able to answer some questions as well.
So thanks everyone who follows the Front Page Twitter account for making that such a successful fan interaction.
We love you.
Overwhelming support on that one.
You all smell lovely.
Yeah, I think that's us.
So, okay.
Hopefully,
So Ross, do you wanna sign it off then?
I will. Hopefully next week we will get this done again, similar time. Try and get it uploaded tomorrow. So that'll be us then.
Okay.
Thank you to anyone who decides to listen and stays for this 50 odd minutes or so. So, right, I'll see you all later.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Cheers.
Shalom.